Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. And on today's video, well, because it is summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going to be talking about running in the heat. And if you don't like running in the heat, like if there's anything about the heat that makes you kind of uncomfortable to run in it, then you're going to want to stick around because I have some tips. And the best part is that I live in a very hot area, and yet these are tips that I don't often do. So let's get into it. Welcome back from the intro. Now, as usual with this type of video, I did come across an article, and this article is on run lovers. And the article is titled, Running in the Heat, 7 Smart Strategies You Probably Haven't Tried Yet. Look, I will place a link to the article in the show notes below in case you want to read through it, but I'm going to be going over these 7 smart strategies. So get a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes. No, I'm just kidding. If anything, put this video on in the background and don't really pay attention to it. But before you walk away, make sure you subscribe to this channel and like this video. That way you get credit for watching it and I get credit for making it. Thank you. Now, look, I don't think I'm really going to surprise anyone when I say that running in the heat can be a bit of a challenge. We know it's just not easy once that temperature gets above a certain level, or not even the temperature. I remember in Boston in 2024, the temperature was absolutely beautiful for running, but because the sun was just beating down on me the whole time, I actually experienced it as being very hot. Now, there is a reason for that, because running in the heat isn't just about sweating. When you're running, naturally, your core temperature goes up. And when your core temperature goes up, your body diverts the blood away from your internal organs to the skin. That is in an attempt to actually cool your body. It's called thermoregulation, right? It's physiology. There are a couple of ways that you can actually help yourself stay cool, or at least stay cooler for longer. Nothing's going to work forever, but hopefully if you do some of these tricks, well, I shouldn't say tricks, they're not really tricks, they're just tips. But hopefully if you do some of them, you'll be able to go out for your run and maybe last longer than you would have without it, or at least feel better than you would without it. So the first tip to think about, a strategy when you're running in the heat, is pre-cooling. That is lowering your body's temperature before you actually go out for the run. This is actually a very studied area in sports science because it actually works. So there's a couple different ways that you could do it. The first way that the article suggests is by taking a cool shower before you actually step outside to go for your run. The second is to wear pre-cooled clothes. So they give an example of wetting some clothes and maybe putting them in the freezer for a few minutes, then putting them on and going out for a run. And the third tip is to hold a frozen water bottle for a few minutes just before you go out on the run. And ultimately what this pre-cooling is doing is giving you a little bit of breathing room. So hopefully you're not going to feel hot as quick as you would if you hadn't have pre-cooled. But here's the thing with pre-cooling. And for me, when I'm going out for a run, like I generally know how far I'm going. And because I'm a morning runner, I wake up, have a cup of coffee, go for a run. But the thing is that I give myself the exact amount of time to get the work done that I want to do. So now this is going to involve maybe waking up even earlier, which means getting less sleep, having a shower. I guess what I'm getting at is that it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of pre-planning and forward thinking. But I guess that's what it takes to be safe and to run better. It's funny because I'm already talking myself out of doing these things, and yet I am quite good at pre-planning. I pre-plan what runs I'm going to do. I suppose it wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Like if I had to sleep a certain amount of time, I guess I could just set the alarm a little bit earlier in order to have a cold shower before heading out. Yeah, it's possible. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it's definitely possible. The second tip is to follow your body's clock and the sun's. And here's why. Well, look, it's very common in the summer to run early in the morning before it gets really hot, or at night after the sun goes down, because these are naturally going to be cooler time. But here's the thing, and get this actually surprised me. Your body actually tolerates heat later in the afternoon, and that's because it takes time for your body to acclimate throughout the day. And look, if you want to train with intensity, that's when you should be going out in the morning. But if you want your body to handle the heat the best, go out for a run between 6 and 8 p.m. This controlled exposure is going to help your body adapt to the heat over time. The third way to deal with the heat is heat adaptive training, and that is going for short runs, frequent runs, and being intentional about those runs. So ultimately, adapting to the heat does not mean going out for a run in the hottest part of the day and just like sucking it up. Effective heat acclimation is built with short efforts over time, so consistency. Now, the article suggests doing 20 or 30-minute runs in slightly warmer clothes than you normally would, and to do this 4 or 5 times a week, even with a heater on. And it's important to note that you shouldn't increase your distance or intensity until you've been practicing that for about a week. Unfortunately, for a lot of us in the Northern Hemisphere right now, we're already like in the thick of summer. So there's probably not going to be too much of wearing extra clothes going outside or turning the heat on in the house to get heat acclimated. Most of us can just step outside. But if you want to get a head start for next summer, that's something you could do throughout the winter. That doesn't sound like fun at all. Like personally, unless I'm going out and I'm running bad water and I live in a very cold area, I only want to heat acclimate when I absolutely have to, because it's not fun. The fourth way to battle the heat is internal cooling. by using the ice slushy trick. And basically, the name kind of gives it away. Just have yourself a cup of crushed ice, add a little bit of water, a little bit of salt, and then sip on that for, 10-15 minutes before you go out for your run. This is a hack that even Olympic athletes use. And this, it seems to me, is a pretty good excuse to buy a slush puppy machine. I used to love slush puppies. Look, slush puppies always made like bigger pieces of ice in the slushies. It's not like the slushies that you get in a gas station now, where everything's really smooth. Slush puppies were good because the ice was just a little bigger. If you know what I'm talking about, then drop a slush puppy emoji in the comments. I'm just kidding. I don't even know if slush puppies are still around. Like, it's probably been 30 years since I've had one. But moving on to the next hack, the fifth hack I think we're on, and that's technical fabrics, which sounds very boring, but apparently it's about the material. It's not just about the color, because obviously if you're going out and you're running in the sun, you want to wear light clothing to reflect the heat, but ideally we want to use a moisture wicking fabric to keep our skin dry. The article suggests drying quickly so that sweat doesn't weigh you down, and it suggests wearing light fitting clothing to let the air circulate around your body. All this seems well and good, unless you actually live somewhere really warm. Because here where I live, whatever I wear, the lightest piece of clothing is going to get soaked within a few minutes. And when it gets soaked, it's going to stick to my body. So there is no way, except if I take it off and wring it out, am I going to get rid of that water weight. And I can absolutely forget about letting air circulate around me because the clothing is stuck to my skin. And actually where I live, the humidity is very high, so there's actually nothing but wet air circulating. So that isn't going to work for me. But let me know if any of these tips are working for you. Number 6, smart hydration. Don't just wait till you're thirsty to take a drink. Pre-drink. And also, don't drink a lot all at once. I know, when you go out for a run and you come home, I will often stand in the kitchen and just glug, 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 just a lot of liquid. But ideally, we want to be drinking little bits very often. And also, because we're sweating so much in the summer, maybe some electrolytes are going to help. If we only drink water, it's going to dilute our sodium blood levels, and you'll be risking cramps and other issues of drinking too much water. So the article suggests drinking isotonic drinks, hydrating regularly, and by regular, it means like every 15 or 20 minutes if that's possible. And it reminds us to always test hydration strategies. Don't just go out on race day and try something new. Now, I really need to take a page out of this book because I am not hydrating regularly. In fact, when I go out for my normal runs, again, I'm just feeling a bit lazy, and I don't always want to take a bottle with me. In fact, I did a workout this morning before I sat down to make this video, and I didn't bring a bottle. And by the time I got home, I was just dying of thirst. Now, thirst is obviously making my workout less effective, but I don't know. Am I going to listen to any of these tips? Maybe at some point, but I guess ultimately it doesn't matter, because the 7th tip is to adjust your goals, right? We know this. We can't run as well in the heat as we do when it's cold out, but also we got to tune into our body and see what we're feeling like. Now, the article does identify that this tip isn't really very technical, but it is probably the most important. We have to be in tune with what we're doing, and we definitely have to adjust our goals. Like that 5K PR that you knocked out when it was 45 degrees Fahrenheit is probably not going to be achievable if you try and run at the same time and it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So guys, now I want to hear from you. Do you do any of those tips? If not, how do you handle the heat? If I was sitting where you're sitting right now and I was thinking about an answer, I don't know actually what I would say. I'd probably say I just go out and run. I think I do pay attention to tip number 7. I do actually listen to my body and adjust my goals for the actual heat. I know I'm not going to perform my best in the middle of summer as I will like in the winter, but that's just me. I know that I could probably benefit from drinking more. Pre-cooling sounds like a good idea. Buying a slush puppy machine sounds like the best idea. I think that's it. But because that's it, if you have made it to this point in the video, you know what's coming. I want you to drop the ice cube emoji in the comments so I know that you made it to this point in the video. And the ice is, well, I think the ice pretty much explains itself at this point. But drop it so I know you've made it this far. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.